and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Jessica,
Welcome to Nomads.
a podcast about international teaching, travel, and life.
We met in our undergrad music program in Minnesota and are now both international music teachers.
I am teaching for a school in Panama.
And I am teaching for a school in China.
And if you've been listening and following us, we are both in those locations actually now.
But we're both still teaching online for various reasons. So if you haven't yet, don't forget to check out our Instagram and follow us at Nomad Podcast.
And since you're listening on YouTube, we would also appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you get alerted when we upload.
Last episode, we started to give you an update on our new teaching posts, how we're settling in, and I talked a lot about my experience in extended quarantine in China.
Mm-hmm. And this episode, because that was a giant topic and there's still more to cover, we are continuing this update and we're going to talk a little bit more about like settling in apartments and all of that more exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of like some days you're doing so much and like just tired because in the States we did nothing, like we were quarantined or locked down for so long. And then there's other days where you're like, oh, why can't I do all of the other things I want to do right now?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and also Laura was bringing up before we hit record that we sound really tired in the last episode, and we'll likely probably sound tired in this episode because she literally just got done teaching her last class before break, and well, not literally, a few hours ago.
Yeah.
And I am in my last week. It is Wednesday. I have 2 more days of teaching before break. So yeah, needless to say, we're pretty pretty tired.
Yeah, it's been weird. So apartments.
Yeah. So we both had really different like experiences with apartments. I mean, yours I guess is similar to how both of ours were last year. Do you want to talk about yours?
Yeah. So at this company we're at, usually you have a medium furnished apartment. Like you don't have bare bones nothing like you would get in the States, but you do have to buy some things, and it kind of varies by location how much stuff you're going to have to buy. So at my last apartment in Turkmenistan, I was very lucky to have pretty much everything I needed, and even some things I didn't need. So I had to buy like hangers and like toiletries and stuff for the bathroom, but really nothing else. And here I have like a bed and some general like closets and storage. I kind of think the last person left them here, but the kitchen has been quite a problem because I don't really have that many appliances. I don't have an oven. I have a stovetop and not even a microwave, which I guess is pretty standard for Chinese apartments. So I bought an air fryer and some pots and pans, and I'm just kind of waiting it out to see if I'm going to have to buy something else because I really don't want to. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars. I already have spent hundreds of dollars just like buying different organizers and dishes, and like even when you get it dirt cheap, it starts to add up because you just need stuff, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
but you're all settled, and you got to go straight there from getting out of, right?
straight. Yes. I mean, I didn't
Well,
have like
once
a,
you finally got out of like the
yeah,
hospital and quarantine, you're
I,
able to
yeah,
go into your apartment.
yeah, I didn't have a middle ground like you, where I was like staying somewhere while a different place was being prepared.
Well, it wasn't being prepared. I was actively searching.
Well, yeah, but like, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like like Laura mentioned, so my place is different. We get a stipend for our apartment instead of just being provided an apartment, which I mean, obviously there's pros because you get to pick where you want to live in the city and all of that. But you are like randomly somewhere else, and it's a lot of legwork. Normally, during a normal year, we would be here like a month before school started, and I would have that time to do it. But since the situation, I was doing it while simultaneously, like, you know, working full time and everything. So it was some extra work, but I am very happy with where I am. So when I landed, they took us to a place on like the main road that overlooks the sea. It's kind of in the middle of the city. So we were all of us new hires were put up there, other than maybe like one person who found an apartment before moving. And then we have like 45 days to find an apartment. The school would suggest like people for us to use, but I just asked some of the other teachers. Um, so I had like a realtor basically like help me and show me around. Um, I looked at places like in the same area, and then also there's like two neighborhoods nearby that are a little farther off this main road. But I ended up staying literally, I'm like 1 block from where I was before. So when I moved, since I didn't have a car yet, I literally just pulled my suitcases down the street because it took like 5 minutes to walk. So yeah, no, my apartment's great. You can find furnished or unfurnished here, so I got furnished. I did need to buy some stuff. There wasn't a ton of pots and pans, so I got those. It was mostly like kitchen stuff that I got. But like everything else, you know, like all the big furniture's here. I have sheets on my bed, and um, yeah, yeah. So that's the main thing.
How much of
Um,
that time that they were going to give you in the hotel did you use, or did you feel like you had to use? Like, was it hard to make a decision, or
um,
you knew right away?
well, I only used like a month of my time because I landed on like November 8th, I think, and I had till like just before Christmas. So we're recording this like, you know, it's December 16th. So I could have stayed like a whole nother week there, or well, actually like 2 or 3 weeks because I moved in like officially last week, but I had my keys the week before. But I had to get internet set up, so I didn't officially move obviously until I had internet because I'm teaching online.
Yeah.
No, this apartment, well, before I looked at apartments, I told her, I said, you know, I don't really care which direction my apartment faces, if it's the city or the sea, because at the time I had a city view and I thought it was so beautiful. But then I walked into this apartment and I was like, oh, it looks at the water. I'm like, okay, I need to look at the water. Like I
Nice.
didn't think I wanted it. But it has like a big balcony, so if things like locked down again, I'll be able to go outside. Um, yeah, it's on the 61st floor, way up. When you are like in my apartment, not on the balcony, it looks like you're just on the water. It's so cool. I don't know. I love it. And yeah, I used basically my exact amount that I get for a stipend. So I'll pay maybe, I don't know, like $50 to $100 for utilities, whereas like some other people or like other apartments I could get that um, I didn't like as much. I could have spent less money, a couple $100 less, or like $100 less and been able to cover utilities, but I am content to do it for this place. So
Do you know anyone? I mean, you don't have to like tell me who they are or whatever, but that has chosen a place that is over the stipend, because I feel like your place is pretty nice, especially for a single, that I can't imagine what more you would want, especially since yours is furnished too.
yeah, I don't know anybody that's chosen above the stipend. And actually, like for me to pick like up to our whole stipend, a lot of people spend less than
Yeah.
our stipend. This apartment too, because like the market for renting and buying is really good right now. You know, there's more demand, or there's more supply than there is demand. So actually, I would have normally probably paid more for my apartment
Okay.
under normal circumstances, or like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. Yeah, normally I think people can end up spending under it, and our stipend is less this year than normal. Again, like partly because the market is in favor of buyers and renters.
Yeah.
I think when the stipend lowered, maybe it pushed some previous people over the stipend, but not by a lot. Maybe
Okay.
like $100 or something.
Yeah, I think my logic would be the same. Like, I know you can save that money and do other stuff with it, but if that money is there for housing and you want to live in a certain place, like, why not?
Yeah, well, and my mindset too was, I'm like, this is somewhere that I think I'm gonna be for at least a couple of years, and I want to feel settled and I want to love it. And when else in my entire life am I going to be able to afford to live in the middle of downtown, but with a
Yeah.
beautiful sea view?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when I will be able to do it and afford it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm living like I'm on a vacation. And we can't use the pools right now because of the virus, or
Uh-huh.
we can by appointment, but they'll be closing in like 3 days. But anyway, it also has like a full gym and like one of those infinity pools or whatever that
Ah,
it
nice.
goes over the edge
Yeah.
that looks like you're swimming in the ocean. Oh, I'm so excited to like use all the
Yeah,
facilities when we open up.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Apparently, my complex has a pool on top. I don't think it's like an infinity pool or anything, but I'm the only staff member, I think, across all 4 campuses that lives in this complex right now. So, literally, like, no one can really help me with, like, I mean, I'm not far away from everyone else, but asking, like, how do I get the mail? Where are the garbage cans? Like, little stuff like that. I've been trying to contact the people who are like a liaison between the landlords and the school, but they don't know every single property like the back of their hands. So like we had a situation where I was washing the dishes and there wasn't any hot water. There wasn't like an indicator to, you know, left is hot or whatever. And it was just ice cold for as long as I ran it. And I told them, like, this needs to be fixed. I don't know, like, what's going on if someone hasn't lived here in a while, but there's no hot water in the kitchen sink. And I was texting the, like, liaison, and she said, oh, it's okay. Like, the water is clean, so you can still wash your dishes. I'm like, no, you need to use hot water. Like, that's how you get grease off and, like, whatever. Do I need to tell you how to do the dishes? And so I kept having to like push for it, and I tried to contact different people at the agency, and finally they got someone to come over, and they had to like buy a part to install it and whatever. It was going to be like a big deal. And the guy comes over and he looks in my sink for like 5 minutes, and then he calls me over, and he has turned on the water heater, which is under the sink. It looks like a boom box. It does not look anything like a water heater. And he was like showing me how to use it. And I'm like, how is it that I took a picture of this whole setup and no one could answer until like this guy came over. So that's what it's been like.
So I actually, my apartment didn't have hot water either. So in Panama, I'm sure there's maybe some places that aren't like this, but usually people like own apartments. Like they buy apartments and then the owner rents it out. And I have like a property manager like lady who's like kind of between us, and she's like on site because I think the owner of my apartment's in Spain. Like they're not even here. But so I like texted her, and literally in like less than an hour, someone was here fixing it.
Nice.
And yeah, so that's been really nice. And then you're talking about like garbage and stuff. Actually, too, I have the number for the front desk, so I can also like text the front desk, and they'll message me, be like, your food delivery's here, or whatever, too. So
Yeah.
that's been really cool. I don't know if it's like, I mean, of course, not every property manager is going to be as great as her, or every like front desk is going to like text you. But I think a lot of them will like call up to your like house phone or message you. So I've been like really happy and impressed with like the management at my apartment complex, and specifically my apartment.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's everywhere, but I have been lucky.
It's interesting to hear, like, I would like to talk to more people that are foreign landlords, like anyone who owns properties outside of the US, because everywhere I've been, it's a different situation. They all have like kind of interesting stories, at least the ones that I've heard. Like my landlord from Turkmenistan was really interesting. And then my friend's landlord, totally different, but also interesting. And like they travel all the time. Like they're not even really around to manage their properties in person, which I guess you
Right,
don't
that's
need
what
to
I'm
do
saying.
anymore.
Like, we have like a property manager, so she manages like apartments for several different people. I think my friend lives in a different building, but she's the like manager for both of us. Yeah, so the owner, it took a while to like hear back from him about finding my apartment. That's a whole nother story, because I love this apartment. I tried to like make an offer on it, and then I didn't hear back. And so I almost got another apartment, but then I heard back. So which I'm happy. And it's okay because I'm working mostly with the property manager, but we had to like wait for the owner because, you know what I mean, they're getting most of the money. What else was I going to say? Oh, you were talking about how no one else lives in your building from school. No one else lives in my building from school either.
But no one else lives
I
in my complex.
I
Not
don't know
just
what
my
you mean
building.
by complex.
Like, okay, like in college, you know, there's like the summit and like different things like that. And so everyone at school, unless they opt to have the stipend, lives in like 3 or 4 different places. No one else lives in my place.
We don't really have like complexes. We have neighborhoods. There's like other people in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like really only one that I like regularly like talk to and hang out, but most of my other friends are like a 5-minute drive away. They're in like a neighborhood that's next to mine. Yeah. I just, like I said, I really was like, I can't not have this view. So yeah, it was worth it to me to be farther away. And well, I guess this can segue into the next thing, but I have a car, so like I can drive 5 minutes. And since it's in the middle of the city, it's pretty close to everything other than school. It's like 25 minutes from school, but that's fine. So I'm only like 5 or 10 minutes from most of like the big places in Panama. I'm like kind of in the middle, so it's also good for that and seeing other people and doing other stuff. Nice. So the person that helped me find my apartment is wonderful, amazing, and her husband had been helping other people find cars, so I got the hookup. Yeah. So yeah, that was another thing too. So I spent several days looking at cars. I found one that I was going to buy, but then the guy, which he agreed to the price, but then when we talked to him the next day, he had sold it to somebody else who paid more money.
Huh.
So that was frustrating. But I think I ended up getting a better car. Not think, I know. I got a 2016 Kia Sportage SUV that's all-wheel drive, and it has a computer system, like screen. It doesn't have a backup camera because I think the owner like just installed it, but I think I can install a backup camera for like, I don't know, 50 to 100 bucks. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. But it was a process, and like literally yesterday too, I went to officially change the title. And you know, we have in states like our DMV, and it's like everything in one place. So we had to go to like one place to like transfer the title or something, and it was like $20. And then we had to go like in the same like building complex to another place to like print it out. And it was like 20 bucks. So it cost like $42 to like whatever do this. I think in the States it's way more expensive, but it was interesting. And we needed a whole bunch of documents, and we had to go to like a little copy shop to make copies. And we were like messaging the previous owner, like, we need another copy of your ID because the first place kept the copy. And like,
no.
it took, I got picked up. He picked me up, my friend, the guy helping me, at 2:30, and I don't think I got home till like almost 5. No, maybe like 4:15, 4:30. So it took like 2 hours, maybe even more. I can't remember. Time is a blur. And then like paying for the car too was also a whole mess. Because I decided I was going to buy it, whatever. And so we went to the bank because I was going to get like a cashier's check because it's like more secure than just sending thousands of dollars to a person.
Yeah.
But like the bank was set to close. And so my friend, again, was like to them, hey, she's getting a check like for a large amount of money. But please make sure like a teller stays open so the owner can cash the check. And she did not relay that information, so they closed. I got my giant check, and they closed all the cashiers, so he couldn't whatever. So then they basically like voided my check, and then I just did a transfer after like spending like 2 hours at the bank. So I'm like, I could have just started with a. I mean, it would be better to have the cashier's check, but I do still have like screenshots and proof of this too. But yeah, it's been a whole fiasco. It's been a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm making it not sound exciting, but no, I have a car. I got a good deal. Yeah. And these two people are wonderful and amazing, and I think will actually like be my friends. They're from Cuba. Or I think they're both from Cuba, and they like moved here. And the girl who helped me find my apartment was talking a lot about how when she first got here, you know, like people were trying to take advantage of her in like paying for things and apartments and stuff. So she like, and her husband now with the cars, like actively try to like help and make sure that doesn't happen to like other expats. So I don't know, it's super cool. And he actually was originally a chef until COVID. Like, and mainly with like sushi. So we have plans for him to come make sushi. I'm so excited. Nice. But yeah. So it's fun. I'm really glad I met them. Anyway, that was like a real tangent.
Yeah, it's fun to hear about the little things, like, I don't know, especially as someone who has done it, and how it's like different. It's just different every time that you do it, and you're learning like not only the culture of like, you know, fashion and manners and stuff, but like all this little stuff of how whatever country you're in does stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to talk quickly so we can talk about other stuff. Okay. But also, along with all of this is why I'm so exhausted for anyone listening. It's like I've been working full time, and then also looking for apartments, moving, looking for a car, doing all this stuff with my car. and also doing stuff for residency. So one of the things you need for residency, I think maybe I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, I can't remember, is you need a letter from the bank saying you have like $5,000 in a bank account here. I think they want like their residents to prove that they have money here and are gonna like spend it in the economy here, you know. So I went to the bank and I have my bank card, and they said you don't have an account, and they like made me leave, and I'm like, I literally have a card and I can use it in an ATM.
Mhm.
So and then I went a second time and they told me again I don't have an account, and I'm like, I don't understand. So finally I went a third time, and finally the person at the counter helping me, well, I mean, he spoke a little English, but also he was just like patient enough to actually explain why it wasn't working. He said, your passport number doesn't match the passport on the account. So somehow I must have sent my like HR people the wrong passport, which is weird because I renewed it 2 years ago and haven't used it since.
Yeah.
So I sent them old passport.
Huh.
So then I had to basically re-sign my whole contract
Oh my
and have them change my password on the bank.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, but then I was able to get it. And then I've gone to that same dude at the same bank. He's helped me like 3 or 4 times now. Um, yeah, and then he helped me set up like online banking and to be able to do transfers and stuff. So yeah, it's all set now. And then I actually also last week finally went to like immigration, and I have my like 6 months residency card. And so before I leave next summer, I'll get like permanent residency, which I think is good for like 10 years. So that's exciting. Like I said, it's been a lot, man. And I'm still not done with my like car either, or my resident. Well, I also need to go have my driver's license verified so that I can drive longer than 3 months here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but the office is closed and they're not taking appointments. So there's that. And then I want my car cleaned, and then I'm gonna get, it's called PanaPass. It's basically like the toll road sticker, so you don't have to stop. I can do that, and yeah, the party never stops.
It really does not. Yeah.
Okay, I see that you added something to the itinerary.
Well,
since you were maybe talking about transportation.
yeah, I don't have a car and I don't have a bank account, but I do have problems. um, so I wanted to talk about that. So this is a giant city, in case no one has researched it. It's a population of 13 million, so that is equivalent to the population of Tokyo, but it doesn't feel like Tokyo at all. It's really spread out land-wise, and I am in a district where a lot of expats live, allegedly. I haven't seen them, but I assume they're here. And so buying your own car is out of the option. It's out of my option? I don't know. It's out of the question. That was what I wanted. Actually, the way that anyone gets a car here is it's a lottery system because there's just too many people. So, like, if you want to buy a car, you fill out an application, and then every year they pick however many people, and they're like, hey, you are allowed to buy and drive a car because there's too many people. So that's how they control that. But there's an extensive bus system that I don't understand. There's an app for the bus system that doesn't match the bus numbers. So that's been helpful. And there's a taxi, it's like Uber, but it's called Didi. And that doesn't work for me, partially because of my cell phone network and partially because I don't have WeChat Pay. Everyone uses WeChat here, which I can use, but I can't get the like pay function where you connect your bank account to the app until I have a Chinese bank account. And I can't get a Chinese bank account until I have a work visa, and I can't get a work visa until after Christmas break. So it's going to be another probably 4 to 6 weeks. No, 8, maybe 8 weeks of doing cash in a country that does not want my cash. So not it's just like also annoying because people will look at me like, what are you doing handing me paper money, when they scan these QR codes all the time or use a card. And I've tried using my cards here, and in most situations it doesn't work.
I was gonna say, I wonder too if maybe like the cards and like digital payment is even more heightened because of the virus. Because I know in the States, like some places would prefer you to pay not in cash. So perhaps, I mean, maybe it was a culture before, but it might have been even more heightened because of the virus.
Yeah,
perhaps.
It could be. I think it's definitely just so part of the culture that it's not really a thing. So that's kind of how my money and my transportation problems tie together, is like if I can't get a taxi because I don't have this payment service, so I have to just stand in the street or like on the sidewalk and wait until an available taxi comes by and flag it over, which is like normal. But like I said, this is such a busy city. Like I was trying to get a taxi to go to the hospital to get another COVID test, because we have to for like 21 days that I've been here. And I walked around like 3 different streets just looking for an available taxi. There was nothing else that I could do. Or I could walk, but it was like 30-minute walk, and there's only a 2-hour window that you can get the test. So it's just all this little stuff that's just annoying.
Yeah, here we also have buses, which I don't know the full story, and I don't know that I'll take them. But actually, I think there's like 2 kinds of buses. So they have, because there were like military bases here and stuff for a long time. So I think the US government like left these. They're basically school buses, but now they're all like graffiti, but they use them as like public transportation.
Yeah.
And then I think they have like some nicer buses too. That maybe go farther. I'm not really sure the difference between the two. And then we have regular old yellow taxis, but I was told don't take them because they will overcharge me because I'm white here, because I'm not from here and I don't speak Spanish. But we do have Uber too. So, and Uber is easy, it's cheap. So if I'm like, well, right now I don't have my insurance, so I'm not driving yet, so I can use Uber. And like if I end up drinking, so I mean there's tons of modes of transportation. Honestly, like Uber is super easy. And there's a bajillion taxis. If I wanted to take a taxi, I totally could. I just might pay a little more, which I mean that happens when you travel really anywhere.
And it's the price of, for most people not having a car, like you're going to spend that money elsewhere. So
right, it's just like I said, for me, because I don't speak the language, I would probably pay more than I would for an Uber. Oh, we also have those little like scooters, like the Lime scooters, the ones you can rent too, but I think they're more expensive than Uber. So again, Uber is like the route, but you really do need, I think, like a car or like a carpool to get to school, which is why I ended up getting a car, because I think you can get there on Uber, but you'll have a hard time getting picked up from there to come back. So because it's out of the city.
Oh, if I didn't say this about last year in a previous episode, I had a personal driver last year because that was the culture. So this is very different for me. Like I'm ready to, learn whatever the new system is, taxi or bus or whatever. But when nothing works, I'm really missing my driver.
Yeah. So do you know anybody even in the area you could ask the different buses and where they
Yeah.
go? Because that's how I learned the buses in Kazakhstan. I
Yeah.
didn't take them often, but I was just like, okay, this one goes here, this one goes here, this one goes here. And I knew like 3 bus
Yeah.
routes.
I'm gonna take the bus to school, and I just asked my friend again today, like where she goes, because she lives like a block away. I could just even go to the same stop that she goes to if I'm really like don't understand. And there's 2 bus numbers I can take. I'm not really sure if it's like the same number on the way back type of thing, but yeah, I'm gonna try that when I come back from break, or like before we go back to school, when I have plenty of time to get lost in case that happens.
Yeah, I think I know we talked about doing it, but I feel like we actually did it once. But me and Sherry and our other friend Lori, my first year in Kazakhstan, like we just decided we would just like ride a bus and ride like the whole route to see like where it went.
Nice.
I mean, if you have an afternoon and no plans, I mean, most of them, at least in Kazakhstan, I can't speak for where you are, are loops. Or it'll be at the end and then you cross the street and you can get on the same number going back.
I think it is like that, but I don't want to assume anything here because I've already tried that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't assume anything. And I would also want to do it with another person in case you do get like far out of the city or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you were talking about break.
Yes. I'm going on a trip, which is weird for 2020. Well, dear God, please let me go on this trip, because there have been so many things that are like, maybe you won't get to go. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally warranted. It doesn't seem like the year where things like that will happen. But allegedly, I am going on this trip. I fly out on Monday. So probably by the time you hear this, I will have gone and probably come back.
Yeah.
But it is to Sanya, which is on the island of Hainan. It's technically part of China, but it's an island, so it's not like mainland China. And so it's okay to travel there because it's within the country and it's not a hotspot, or like they haven't had any high number of cases. I think they have like 2 cases right now or something. So it's not a point of concern. Some other people from school are going. I don't really know those people, but I'm in a group chat and they said, whoever wants to go, like, we'll meet up and have some meals together, or maybe like do a day trip or something. But I'm pretty much set to sit on the beach, enjoy my resort, not really go out and like, I guess there's some sites, but I just want a vacation where you sit on the beach and relax, because I've never done that. I've never relaxed really, but I'm gonna do that, and it's for Christmas since I can't go home. So we're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I said this in the last episode. Like I had plans to also be on a beach, but literally last night, MINSA, like the Ministry of, I don't know the acronym. Oh, whatever. They're like the health people here in Panama. Came out and said between the 23rd of December and the 4th of January, you can't leave the city, like whatever city you're in. So I can't leave Panama City. And then they also bumped up, when I first got here, the curfew was 11 p.m. And then like last week, they bumped it up to 9. And now starting in like 2 days, it's bumped up to 7 p.m. So you can go out from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then we're also going in a full lockdown basically over Christmas and over New Year's. So the 25th through the 28th and the 1st through 4th, we can't leave at all. So that cancels my plans. I'm glad we were talking about a second trip, so I'm a little glad we didn't yet. But yeah. So I will be probably just chilling in Panama. I don't know. I have my residency now, and it's just like I could go back to the States, but I can't really do anything or see anyone. I would just be with my parents, which is great. But my mom has been with me this whole time. She's leaving in a couple days, so I've spent this whole time with my mom already, and like 5 months this summer with my parents. So I don't know, but there'll probably just be a lot of sitting at home on my brand new balcony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
I feel like I was just home because I was. And
Yeah.
this is my first Christmas that I haven't gone home ever. So it's different, but it doesn't feel different now. Like there's this country doesn't celebrate Christmas really. They have Chinese New Year. So there's no like decorations or anything anywhere. It's not cold, like this is a tropical area. So it doesn't feel like Christmas. I did make some Christmas treats today just to like try and make me feel like it's Christmas, but I mean, it doesn't feel like Christmas. So
yeah, my mom and I are going to, like, on Friday, because she leaves this weekend, but before she leaves, like, make cookies and like watch a holiday movie, and I don't know, just like hang out. There are like Christmas decorations everywhere and Christmas music. I think, I don't know if it's like the largest religion or if it's just like the like official religion, like based on like calendar wise, but like they do have like Catholics here, I think. I would assume it's also probably the largest by number, but at least we go by it for like the calendar, you know, all the
school
Catholic
calendar.
holidays we have off and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty decently big here, too. Yeah, I don't know. So, but like you're talking about the warm thing, it's like literally I go outside and I'm like sweating and it's like 80 degrees, so it's like it doesn't feel like Christmas.
Yeah.
But I have like 2 years ago I did go home for Christmas. It's just the only difference is I was planning to be home for Christmas, and now I'm not. And the other year when I left in the summer, I knew I wasn't going to come back. But also I've only been here for like a month. Or like weeks. So I did just see everybody. It's not like I've gone since August without seeing them.
Yeah. It really helps that we had that.
It's okay. It's just it's just the biggest thing is I think that I'll be in like a lockdown alone is the biggest thing. It's not just like I'm not gonna see my family.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna see anyone except my cat.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting. There'll be a lot of video calls to people, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think we're gonna do some kind of extended family Zoom on Christmas Day. I don't know what the Wi-Fi is going to be like on the beach. I won't be physically on the beach at that time, but you know what I mean. Like I'm going to do my best, but I'm assuming the connection's not going to be great. And then with my mom, we did some gift exchange and stuff with my sister before I left, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to come back. So I'm really like, maybe I'll be a little sad on Christmas Day, but I'm also going to be on vacation. So probably not. I think I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, that's why I booked my trip like over Christmas too. So then I would like be on a beach with like a couple of friends. But yeah, like I said, it is what it is. And I do want to do what is good for the country because the cases have been rising since they reopened. So it is good for the health of everyone in the country, and you know, and I understand.
Yeah, this isn't going to be
more challenging.
It's not going to be normal for anyone. So it's not like anyone's situation is normal. It's fine.
Right. Okay, but I will say I did get to do this is the next topic too. But I did get to do sightseeing since I've been here. So I got to go to Gamboa, which was like another city. I went on again like a small tour with a couple of friends and our guide, and we went on a boat through the canal and drove up to islands and saw monkeys and fed the bananas, and they boarded our little boat. And we also saw an island with like indigenous people, so that was really cool. They basically just like live off the land, and I think there's only like 20 people that live on this island. It's super small. I mean, they take like a boat and like go into school, like and some people, like one person on the island is like a doctor or something, like in Panama City. So like they're very still like connected to civilization, but they like live off the land. And so that was really neat. And they make a bunch of like medicine and stuff from the plants on their island. Yeah, it was really cool to see that. And then I saw Panama Viejo, which is like old Panama, so where the city used to be before it burnt down. So there's some ruins there, and just general like other areas. There's Casco Viejo, which is also like almost like European style-ish area of the city. It has some churches and like cool restaurants. Yeah, I went to a biomuseum. It's like science museum. I feel like I've done more. Oh, I did a couple of hikes. I did one hike that looked over the city. I feel like I did another one. Yeah, I don't know. I've gotten to do a decent amount of stuff here before, so I don't feel like I've done nothing. So it's been good that I've gotten to experience some of that.
I did one thing. My first weekend that I was here, it was like a mad rush for the 3 people that I know to see me. So my friend who's the band teacher here wanted to take me and the music teacher at the preschool on a walk to get to know the city a little bit, because he's been here, I think this is his 3rd year, and he's planning to be here for several more years. So he's like really settled in, and I think he likes to do these walks around the city. So we started at Walmart, which is across the street from my house. And then we walked past 2 campuses of our school. We also walked past 2 other international schools. That's interesting because I haven't been at a place where there's been another international school before. And then where else did we walk? We walked up to the bay, which normally there's a bridge. I mean, there's still a bridge, but normally it's where you can take the ferry to Hong Kong, which I really hope that opens before I leave in like the summer or whatever, because that would be awesome. But there's also a bridge. I think the bridge goes to Hong Kong. I don't know. I don't want to say that and sound wrong. But there's a really long bridge. It goes off into the smog. You can't see where it ends. And I couldn't even, normally you can see the skyline to Hong Kong from the bay, but it was really pollution-y, so I couldn't see it. But we did walk to the bay. There's a bunch of parks right alongside it, just like grassy areas. And then like some cool paths to bike or walk or whatever. I'd like to like bike on that someday. And then we walked to, I don't know, some more small sites. There's like a little man-made river thing that runs through the middle of the city. And then we ended up at a brewery, and it was great. It was like a 3-hour loop. So it was a very long time. I was not conditioned for that straight out of the hospital. and I had walked an hour earlier that day. So I was not feeling great, but I had several beers and I was fine.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna mention that too. I've been to a couple breweries around here, and I know you've went to some other ones too. So it's cool that like it's something that you and I both like to do in Minnesota. So it's cool that it's something we can continue to do
I think
here.
it's so interesting to see. It's one of those things that you can go to in other countries and like it's kind of the same because you make beer the same way, but then there's also some little things like here there's one really cool brewery that I like that always flavors their beers with different kinds of tea. And if I'm not drinking beer, I'm probably drinking tea. So it's really cool. They also had like live music and stuff, but yeah, I like doing stuff like that.
I do like all the breweries that I've been to here also have like food, like hot food, and a lot of them have like pretty decent like normal size menus too. So that's something I've appreciated about the breweries here because like a lot in the States, like maybe they won't do
Yeah.
food, or it's
Here they
like you can
don't.
get
Yeah.
yeah. So that's so neat. Um, yeah.
Well, let's talk about making friends, settling in, school, like any other things that have happened since you've been here.
Yeah, for me, I talked to, like the music department and like one other person more often in the like visual performing arts department because she's from Minnesota too. So I was talking to them before, um, and then we had like our meeting where we were told we were coming over a lot sooner than we initially planned, and a couple of people, also like younger-ish women, um, I saw them asking questions that I was asking too. So I like messaged them and we kind of like bonded a little over that. So one of them's still not here yet, but one is here. And so we've been hanging out and she's an elementary teacher. So through her, I've met a couple other elementary teachers, and then it's really because we haven't had like a normal year where you like get together with teachers. So it's also just been me like messaging other like middle school teachers, being like, "Hi, do you wanna do this?" or just what I mean, like how is just checking in on them and stuff too if we're not even like hanging out together. So yeah, it's been a lot more like explicit effort to like make friends than normal.
Yeah.
I think because normally, like I said, you have the like get-togethers at the beginning of the year, and you just like naturally start talking, or you get taken around to like here's the grocery stores and like on little tours and stuff. And we didn't get that this year. We had one really quick tour, but I was on a bus with only a couple people. Yeah, but it's been good. It's just like I said, you need to be more explicit about it and intentional about it, I guess. So I've pushed myself outside my comfort zone. It's not something I would normally do, just like message a coworker that I haven't like met in person and but
Yeah.
it's been good and everybody's been nice and helpful, and yeah, I've enjoyed um hanging out with the few people I have been able to and like getting to know the other people
Nice.
that I haven't met in person yet or haven't spent a lot of time in person yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a unique position because I haven't been to school yet, and most of the other teachers are at school like all the time. So I feel like a little bit like I'm missing out. Like I know when I get there, like it'll be fine. I'll meet some people because I'm around people. But now is the hard part because I'm here and I want to do stuff, but I only know like 3 people. And they're the people that are friends or became friends with me out of pity because I was asking questions in the group chat and there was no way that the school could help me. So then just some nice people were like, oh, I'll help you. So, you know, those are probably the kind of friends that you want anyway, like good people that are going to help you out.
Right.
So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. But I've found I have one friend who's like roughly my age and single, so we have that in common. And then I have like my music colleagues. It's really cool to be on a team of music teachers, and one of them is roughly my age. And then I have two single female teachers that are a little bit older, and this is their second year, so they can like help me get to know stuff. So I have a couple people in like different areas to help me with different things. So it's been fun.
Yeah, I know I mentioned this earlier, but also I too like want to reiterate, like the person that helped me find my apartment and car, like that couple. Also like I feel like we're actually friends, and we, I don't know, like have gone out for like coffee while looking for cars. And like I said, they were actually supposed to go on Christmas vacation with me, and yeah, and like I said, he's gonna eventually, we'll see what happens with the lockdown, make some of us sushi. So like what you were saying, I think it's good because I have some friends in like elementary, so they're like at my school but not in my division.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have some friends that are in like the visual performing arts department, and then I have some friends that are in my division, like in middle school, and then like people outside of school. It sounds like a lot, but really it's only like, you know, two or something in each. But it's nice to have like different people to reach out for different things.
Yeah, I have a couple friends who were here, who taught here like 2 or 3 years ago, and they transferred to Turkmenistan my last year. So when they heard that I was coming here, like they were excited. They wanted to tell me about everything and give me advice. And they said a really cool thing about being here is because we have 4 campuses. If you make friends with people from the other campuses, you're not just talking about work all the time and like griping about the same students or coworkers or whatever. And I haven't like really experienced that yet, but I do have a couple of friends from other campuses. So it's nice to just talk about like being a teacher or unrelated things to school. Whereas last year we were almost always talking about school.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's been good. It's like my friends, yeah, in Kazakhstan were like upper elementary teachers mostly. And I taught upper elementary, and maybe if I didn't currently teach their kids, I had taught their kids like a year or two earlier. So yeah, we did talk about school a lot. But yeah, it's definitely good to have people to talk about other stuff with.
Yeah. I've been looking on Bumble BFF too. I haven't like added anyone because I don't know. I want to have some more expat friends before I branch out to locals, just because I don't know what to expect with the culture at all. I haven't even been to school to meet the locals at school. So still like
Yeah.
a little bit nervous about that. But I don't know. That's another option that I have. And like people literally just put like, I'm looking for friends to like go dancing with or get drinks. Like they'll be pretty specific about the kind of friend that they want. And then it's funny because like what other time would you do that? You'd be like, hi, I only want to be your friend for X.
Well, I mean, it's just maybe they have other friends, but not friends that like that thing that they like, you know? I think it's kind of cool.
No,
Because we
cool.
were just talking about like you have friends you go to for different things, or like,
yeah,
you know, if you're like, I want to go to a brewery, you know, I can think of which of my friends I would think would be interested.
Yeah, exactly. So I might try that. I'll let you guys know like how that goes, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, before we go, let's do like maybe a quick as possible update on school situation. I know we've already talked about it, but there's some new developments, I guess, for me. But everything's in flux, so what I know right now will change tomorrow, will change in 1 week,
Mhm.
You talked about yours, so you want to just like go through yours again first?
Yeah, I've been teaching online because of the quarantine thing, just for me. And today was our last day of school before the break. And so grades were due on Friday, and there's just a lot of like finishing up units. And my co-teacher opened separate units. So some classes I wouldn't really check in with at all because he was finishing his stuff. And then there'd be other ones where I'd take over the whole thing. So it hasn't been a normal schedule at all. And we're also switching our schedules in January. So I will have less less kids, and the kids don't know that. So that'll be interesting. I don't think they'll be like super heartbroken or anything, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah. So we've been online, and we will be for sure online till at least February 1st. We're actually having a meeting today about opening procedures, and we've talked a little bit about it. When we go back, which it could be February 1st, but like I said, a lot of things are in flux, and with them adding in new restrictions, I'm not like 100% sure that will happen in February. But again, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. But they're thinking of putting them on like a rotating schedule, so like the kids would have, I don't know, they would only go to campus like 1 day a week or something like that, and they go like 3 hours in the morning, and then we have like a break for lunch and office hours, and then they have 2 classes online in the afternoon. It's the current schedule. And then Friday I think is completely asynchronous, like at home. um, so we'll just have to see what happens when we actually open up, and as we hear more, I'm sure throughout the holidays we'll hear more from the local authorities and everything too. If the lockdowns like helped, or if cases are still at not a good level, I don't know.
Mhm.
um, yeah, and then they're also doing like the kids will be jumbled kind of into cohorts, so it will kind of change around like rosters for classes, I think. Which will be interesting for our middle schoolers that have elected to do like vocal, instrumental, general music. If they get all mixed,
Mhm.
that'll be an adjustment for us to figure out.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the kids will stay in one classroom and the teachers go in and out.
Mm.
And I don't know, singing's probably not okay because they're telling people right now, if you're taking public transportation, try to not talk. So if they're recommending people don't talk,
Oh my
we
gosh.
probably can't sing. Instruments, we don't know if we'll be able to play, and even if we are, like I said, the kids might be jumbled up, and with the weird schedule of them going to school less often, I think we'll have more students forgetting instruments than normal.
Oh yeah.
So, but there's a lot of unknowns. So, like I said, we're coming up with a plan, like our school is, for opening. The current date is February 1st. However, it could be pushed back. Um, I don't want to speak too much of when I think we'll open, but I mean, I think, like I said, with the announcement that came out last night from the government of adding things, I don't think that we will open in February, but if this helps, perhaps we
Yeah.
still will.
I also haven't had my concert yet. The band teacher had his concert last week, and all the other schools had their concerts, and I wasn't allowed to go because of the group's size and stuff. But my concert will be postponed. We're looking at the first week in February right now, and we're gonna start the concerts during the school day. So actually, a couple of classes will have the concert at the same time as their class, and it will probably be shorter than their actual class because we only have like 20 or 30 minutes of repertoire for each class. So each age group has to do their own concert because of like the size limitations and stuff. So we'll have a new concert starting every 30 minutes and parents rotating in and out. And then we should only have 2 concert days between like the 8 or 9 classes, I think, for general music, between me and my co-teacher. So that'll be interesting. I've never done a concert schedule like this before. I always have just done one, and it's like everyone together, but this is a unique situation. So that'll be interesting for sure.
We did our elementary concerts during the day in Kazakhstan. And they would be like lumped though. It would be like lower elementary, upper elementary, and sometimes we would even split it in 3. And so it would just be for like a half hour, 45 minutes during the school day. And we would try to put them in the same day so if parents had multiple kids.
Yeah.
But yours is like way more extensive even than that because ours were still grouped together.
Yeah. Well, it'll be like 11-year-old classes together, 9-year-old classes together. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we even like grouped though. We would do like 9, 10s, 11s, and like I don't know, lower elementary or like 6, 7, 8s had a thing. I can't remember exactly. We split it different years.
Well,
yeah. I was gonna say too, we had a big like holiday fest that was like virtual. So there was my students did 2 of my groups, well, I guess 3 technically. My 7th and 8th grade choir did like a recording together, and the art classes in 8th grade made like postcards that shuffled through, and then my high school strings played a song that we recorded and put in. And then some elementary students did like live performances, almost all on piano, so it was cute to see them play their songs. Some of them were really good. And then, like I said, other teachers had pre-recorded stuff, and we did the music faculty, along with like a couple other teachers, recorded my favorite things, and we had like a video that we did. And there were like workshops for like crafts and like holiday stories. So it was cool. It was just like the morning, like 9 to 11:30 or something like that. But yeah, it was a lot of moving parts, but we have a pretty big visual performing arts department, so it came together pretty well.
Yeah. I really want to do a bigger, like, that's one of my dreams, is when I have a music teaching team. I mean, we could do it this year, but there's a lot of constraints. To do like a bigger collaborative production with like a bunch of classes together. That's what I kind of thought this concert was going to be, but then a lot of things changed and it's not happening. But
yeah, I want to, again, I don't know if we'll be able to do it this year either, but I want to do like a giant music thing with like all the music classes. I think it would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But again, it's like if we're in person, we probably can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
And if we're recording, it's also very extensive to get that many pieces, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we can split. We have 4 music teachers. One just teaches guitar, and then there's elementary, and then me and the other guy split middle school and high school. So, I mean, we could each be in charge of our own kids and syncing up that part, but that's still a lot. For the school our size, it's over 1,000 kids. It's a lot.
Yeah, our school's pretty big too. Well, this seems like a good place for us to stop. So, like we said before, we're going to take a few weeks of break for the holidays, and we'll begin season 2 in early 2021.
In the meantime, if you have questions or suggestions for us for the new season, the best place to let us know is either YouTube comments or, even better, our Instagram page at Nomads Podcast.
Yes. And on the Instagram, we are posting extra clips, pictures, and reminders about upcoming episodes and our next season. Thanks for listening from wherever in the world you are.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Come and fly away with me. 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 Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You